Welcome back, everybody, to Hayes Tech. Now, today we are going to talk about another watch from Long Island Watch, and this one here is called the Southold. Now, as I said in my last video review of one of their watches, Long Island Watch is based out of Long Island, New York, and basically what they do is he sells a lot of higher end watches. And now, when I say that, I don't mean that all he has is Rolexes and stuff, because he actually does sell a lot of, say, in the affordable but not cheap end of the market. I've said in the past I like Seiko watches for what they are and their styling. Again, he's made a name for himself for modifying a lot of these watches. And after modifying a lot of these watches, he decided, what I should do is just make my own watch. So he got together with a few people and they, went to town and came up with a watch that basically has everything in it that he feels should have been in a good dive watch. And that is where you get, the Islander brand of watch. And again, I reviewed the last watch, and like I said, I really had high regards for that watch. The only thing that I think I found that I didn't like on that watch, and when I say I didn't like, I meant that the only thing that I would have improved on would have been the band, okay? And even though the band was a very good band, it just felt a little light for me, and that was it on that watch. But today, we're going to go ahead and go over the Southold, and I will explain more about how the name Southold came about. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and jump into the Southold by Islander Watch. Now, I do have a script in front of me, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm not going to follow a script, okay? I don't do that. I don't like scripts. I hate it when people script. You can always tell. So what I am calling my script is just basically some notes that I can follow. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the name Southold. Now, when Island Watch first started to come out with their own brand of watch, of course, the Islander, basically that's what the watch was called. It was called the Islander. And then you had several different model numbers. Like the watch that I reviewed last time was the ISL-114. And they have all kinds of different watches with, different ring bezels and different kind of crystals with either a higher dome or a flatter dome and, different bands and all of those different watches would have a different model number. That is what is so cool about Island Watch. He loves to modify watches. So do I. I'm going to show you. If you look down here, this is my little toolbox of all the tools and batteries. And I mean, I have tools in here that I can actually, if I wanted to, I could probably take a watch completely apart, put it back together. But, that's just something I'm probably not ever going to do. There's no way I can do that. But anyways, I like that whole customizing thing. It's just cool. He took that to the extreme where he said, you know what, I'm just going to start making watches that I think are awesome. And, because he was selling a lot of those watches in his business of selling, Rolexes and Seikos and all the watches in between. Those watches that he was modifying, people were asking him, hey, I'd like to buy that. Or, hey, can you sell me the parts that I can modify my own? That's how this whole, thing got started. And he decided, you know what? I'm just going to start making my own watch, and we're going to call it the Islander with all the modifications that I like to do to, all these Seiko watches and some of the other ones out on the market. So, with that being said, I think I went over a lot of that in my last video, so I'm not going to harp, too much on that. Before we go any further, again, I just wanted to let you guys see what I'm wearing today as far as a wrist check goes. Again, on this arm right here, I am wearing my Bulova. The model number of this Bulova, it's a 96A100. They don't really have a name. It's just Bulova 96A100, and it is an automatic self-winding with a clear back. So you guys can see that clear back. I love watches with clear backs. And then, of course, my other one is my Casio Mudmaster, and you guys can see it right there. And yeah, this watch I wear pretty much everywhere I go. I love this watch. It's lightweight, but super durable, and it's got every function on it that you could ever want. I mean, pretty much the kitchen sink. And I love this watch. But this here is actually the most expensive watch I own. I think they list for about $750. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and open this up, let you guys see what it looks like. It's going to come in a box like this. And it'll come on a pillow. But there you guys can see it. This is the Southold from Island Watch. And we're just going to go ahead and talk about the specs here real quick. Now, it has a stainless steel case body and band. And this one here comes with the really nice black dial or face on it. And it does have lume the whole way around. Everywhere you see a hour marker is, of course, lume, plus the Island Watch logo is lumed. The whole hand, hour and minute, is lumed. The second hand, that little dot on the back side, that's lumed. The bezel has lume. I said it in my last video when I reviewed that last watch. I think it was the ISL-114. That was a beautiful watch, man. That gorgeous watch. And the bezel actually had ceramic the whole way around the bezel, which, again, looked beautiful. But it didn't have that lume in it, which I like. I like as much lume as I can get. And I'm going to tell you what, the lume on this watch is just crazy, which I'm going to show you later in the video what the lume looks like. I'll put in some B-roll. It's also got a coin edge bezel on it. Don't know if you guys can see it there, but again, I will put in a lot of B-roll here because this is my recording studio. My recording studio is it's got that ambiance to, for recording videos, not to show off watches. I did a lot of B-roll outside, and I will be showing all that off, throughout this video. Again, I did want to mention that the bezel rotates, but only in one direction. So you can rotate it in this direction, but it does not rotate that way, okay? As I mentioned earlier, it does have lume on the bezel as well. Also, this watch does have hacking features. Again, when you pull the crown out all the way, the second hand will stop, okay? So that's called hacking. This watch does come with that. And I did want to mention, the last time I said that, the one thing that this doesn't have that I usually see on watches with hacking is the tip of the watch that, shows you which second you're on. This does have a circle on the second hand. It's on the back side, on the short side. It's not on the tip, but it does have a circle. And so I guess that does, show that it has hacking. But anyways, I just wanted you to know that this watch does have hacking features. And that is something that is very important to me in a mechanical watch. So if I buy a mechanical watch, I don't like to get it unless it has hacking. Now, does my Bulova have hacking? No, it doesn't. But it's, this watch was meant to be elegant and tell time. That's it. And it does that quite well. This does have a self-winding movement, so every time you move your wrist, it's going to go ahead and wind the watch up for you. Also, like I said in my last video, if you have a self-winding watch, set the time on it, give it 1, maybe 2 winds, that's it. The movement of your arm throughout the day is going to finish winding that watch up, and, and that's all you have to do. I wore this watch again for several days, and, I gave it 1, maybe 2 winds when I first put the watch on, and it never lost, any time at all. As a matter of fact, in all the time that I wore this, and I think it was about 3 days, it lost 0 time. Now I didn't check it for like to the second, but as far as minutes go, it kept right up with my atomic clocks. So very good for timekeeping on this watch. It also has a legible day complication at the 6 o'clock position. Again, every time I go to do a video, it's like the hands are in the way, and I can't show it. Now it doesn't have day date. It just has the date. Today is the 20th, so it'll say 20 in that little window at the 6 o'clock position. Now it doesn't have day date, like Wednesday the 20th or Monday the 20th, but it does at least give you the date, the 20th. This watch is 200 meters water resistant. Again, I said in the past, a lot of watches, they won't say, that they're a true dive watch. And, they don't advertise this as a true dive watch. But, it is 200 meters, water resistant. And in my opinion, that is a dive watch. Now, you're not going to be able to take this down to extreme depths, like you could a 250 meter or 300 meter regulated watch. But, for swimming, for the stuff that I do, or if I wanted to go snorkeling, this thing is perfect for that. If you're going to go down 100 feet in the water or, 50 feet in the water, this watch will do it, and you're not going to have to worry about it whatsoever. Now, I did want to mention that the screw-down crown is slightly domed, and again, I'll put in some B-roll, and it does have the Island Watch logo on the tip of the crown. And if I didn't mention, it has a sapphire crystal in it. It's not mineral glass, and it's not plastic. This has a sapphire crystal. One of the things that I look for in a watch is a sapphire crystal. Mineral crystal's okay, but it is nowhere near as hard or as durable as sapphire crystal. My preference is a sapphire crystal. This one has it. I did want to mention that where the bevel on the crystal meets the bezel, if I wanted to be really, really picky, it is a dust magnet. But, I've got, like I said, in my toolbox here, I've got little brushes and things. My other watches do the same thing. They have an area where it will collect dust. So, but I just wanted to bring that up because there was this one guy that did a video on some of the Island watches, and this dude just tore these watches up. And I'm not even going to mention his name because some of these people that do watch reviews, if it's not a Rolex or, something like that, they snub their nose up to these watches, and people like that, I just can't stand. I won't even watch their videos. Before I did the video on this watch, I didn't watch anything because I like to, dive into this on my own, get my own opinions. That's how I like to do a video. But after I did it and uploaded it, then I started watching some of the reviews that other people did. And for the most part, they were all very good reviews. But man, this one guy, I can't believe, that he would actually do that. But, I digress. You got to realize that there are some people out there that are just real jerks. And man, that guy was a jerk. Now, the bezel is 42 millimeters. And from lug to lug is 49 millimeters. And then from the case back to the top of the glass, from here to here, is 15 millimeters. And I also usually like to measure from the edge of the winding crown and out, but you're going to add another 2 millimeters to that. So from the very outside edge of the crown to this side, you have 45.44 millimeters. Your band width is right around 19 millimeters. I don't like to put too much into measurements because usually I go by what's on the website. The website's usually really accurate in giving you, measurements of the watch. And this has pretty substantial measurements. I think the watch I did last was just a little smaller. And when I say a little smaller, I'm talking maybe a millimeter less than this. I do know that the bezel on this is a little larger than the last one I did as well, which I like. The bigger, the better. This does have an adjustable stainless steel clasp for the band And again, I wanted to mention to adjust the length of the band so you can get it to fit your arm. On the Island watch, it is one of the easiest bands I've ever had on a watch to take links out or put links in. Basically, you just get a very small screwdriver. It's a watch screwdriver, and you screw out the pins. So you don't have to put it in a little vise and tap out the pins like you do on other watches. They just screw in and screw out. That is so nice. I love that. Again, I wish all bands were like that because that's the way to do it. I will say that on this watch, I actually had to take 4 links out of it. On the watch that I reviewed last time, I only had to take 1 link out, and it fit beautifully. I think it was 1 link, 1 or 2. I actually had to take 4 links out of it to get it to fit my wrist. 5 links, maybe. 4 or 5 links. But with that being said, it actually fit Noah's wrist. So he could actually put this watch on and snap it, and it still had room to play. He's not a big fan of these watches, and the reason why is because they're not big enough. Remember, Noah is 6'6" or 6'7" now. He's got 7¼ inch wrists. He needs a watch like this to look right on his arm. I did want to mention also that the band has a brushed finish on it. I like that brushed effect. I'd rather the whole band be brushed than like have the center portion polished and then the outer edges, with a brush finish. I think the brushed finish adds just that much more touch of class, and I like a brushed finish on a watch that's stainless steel. That's just my preference. So I think they did a great job on that. Okay, reading from their thing, it's got solid end links and a brushed finish, which I already told you about. And it also has drilled lugs for easy changing of the band. That's part of owning watches like that, is to make it yours, The band is one of the first things that people change on a watch. Now, normally I like to keep everything original, but yes, I have changed bands on my watches. As a matter of fact, my Arnie right now is wearing a survival bracelet on it, one of those paracord type bracelets, and I just kind of like it. So that's what my Arnie's wearing right now. Bottom line, what did I think of the watch? I loved it. These really aren't my style of watch, but man, I really liked this particular watch. And I'm going to go ahead and get into, what didn't I like about it. If I had to change one thing on this watch, and one thing only, it would be to move that crown to the 4 or 5 o'clock position, like what you find on a Seiko watch, on one of their watches. The Islander watch that I reviewed last time was perfect where that was at. Did it bother me? No. It didn't dig into my wrist or anything like that, so it really didn't bother me. But it's just a feature that I like on a watch that winds up like that, is to have that offset. That way I can wear it on my left hand, where I normally wear a watch, and I don't have to worry about it digging into my hand. Again, it didn't dig into my hand, and I did wear it on this arm over here. I wore it over here. I didn't feel it digging into my arm at all, but I still prefer the winding crown to be offset from the center. That's just me, my preference. Again, I could say, well, the band was real light or whatever. They're solid links. How much heavier do you want it to be? I thought it was pretty good. I'll tell you what, I think he's got a real winner with his Islander series of watches. So he basically took what he liked out of certain watches and added his own little tweaks to them and made them his. This watch lists for $299 on his website, and I think it's worth every penny of that. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on my wrist and let you guys see what it looks like. And I can actually slide it right on without unbuckling it, just because I put all the links back in, and I'm getting ready to ship this back, so I put all the links back in it. Look at the room. But that's great. Send a watch like that. That way I can make it fit my needs, or whoever can make it fit their needs. Again, this actually fit Noah, so that's crazy. And again, I'll show you a B-roll of both the loom and what it looked like on my arm, and we'll throw that in now. The first thing I want to say is I want to thank Ryan for helping me out with this, getting me the watch, setting, shipping it out to me. Ryan is the person that I talked to both times about, what kind of watch did I want sent to me, to review and all that. And by the way, I think that either of those choices that you pick on the drone will do you very, very good. And you won't have any issues at all learning it because it is so easy. DJI just makes it very easy. But back to the watch. I want to thank you very much for helping me out with that. You did a great job, and I do appreciate that. I also want to thank Marc for allowing Ryan to just, to send these watches out to people like me to review them. I think it's great what they're doing there. And again, don't forget that Marc has his own YouTube channel, and he talks pretty much about everything about watches. I mean, if you can come up with a topic on a watch, Marc talks about it on his channel. But again, I highly recommend that you go over and check out his channel, and I will be putting a link to his channel below. So yeah, don't change a thing, guys. I think the watch is great, just the way it is. I'll tell you what I would like to see, though. I would like to see either a silver face or dial on that, or a gold dial on it, like I showed on my Arnie watch. I think that would really, really go nice on that. A nice gold dial or a silver dial. I know you got. I think you do have a. It's called a gray dial. I'm talking silver. The shiny silver, just like gold. Anyways, there I am blabbing again. That's it, guys. If you have any questions, post them below. I'm sure that either if I don't answer it, somebody from Island Watch will jump in and answer for you. I can highly recommend any of their watches. They do great work over there at Island Watch, and again, I can highly recommend the Islander, which is their own watch brand, and of course the watch I reviewed today. So head on over there, check them out. That's all I have. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next one.